Rob Pelinka getting a lot of heat. Rob Pelinka's response is, I am not going to try to buy a house that's not on the market. Everybody wanted him to make a certain trade. That guy was not available. He did not want to grossly overpay to get the DeJounte Murray deal done out of Atlanta. He said, we had one draft pick to use. I was not going to give it away if I didn't think that was the right player we were getting back. Also, don't think they wanted to take on a ton of salary. That was a big issue. They didn't make any trades at all. They did make a deal right at the end. They signed Spencer Dinwiddie, who had come from the Brooklyn Nets to the Toronto Raptors and promptly got bought out. They just signed him. He averages 12 points a game. He's a 31-year-old guard. So he's going to provide them some depth. I think the reality was they didn't want to give up a future number one. Nobody wanted D'Angelo Russell's $34 million left on his Laker contract. They didn't want to trade Austin Reeves, who's had a better middle part of the season than he had the first third of the season. And they think by the time they get to free agency next summer, they will now have more draft picks to use because they're going to pick up an additional draft pick. So he says, he kind of lectured the media. I think he's tired of just the constant criticism. Of course, the fans are tired of being in 10th place in the Western Conference. He said, I know the real stories of what goes on inside these NBA trade conversations. You don't, John Riley. I do, Rob Pelinka. So that was really interesting. And, you know, at the end of the day, we talked about this prior, just all the trades that he has made. Pop that board up there for us, John. All the trades that he's made that haven't made a real difference. Granted, the team did get to the NBA Western Finals against Denver, but they got beat. But look at all the transactions that Rob Pelinka's made to try to get chemistry guys in there to make a difference. Virtually every one of the guys he got here in this offseason of 2023, nobody's contributed. I mean, injuries have had something to do with it. In 2022, remember the gamble with Russell Westbrook? How'd that work out?
So
they did make progress with Schrader and Pat Beverly. In 2021, Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza, Rajon Rondo, that didn't work out. 2020, they had Alex Caruso and he's gone. Drummond was here, and for a while, Gasol did contribute. And back in 2019, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope played well in spurts. Can't say the same thing for Dwight Howard nor JaVale McGee. So he's tried virtually everything, has just not been able to make the chemistry come together. And this time he decided to keep his powder dry, hold on to his draft picks because he couldn't move D'Angelo Russell's contract. So we're looking at a Laker team that should make the playoffs, maybe. Probably going to wind up being in a play-in series. I don't think they go more than one round. This roster just doesn't have enough around King James and AD.
Yeah, well, we were really concerned about this going into the trade deadline, that supporting cast wasn't working. I kind of wonder if, Pelinka is kind of his back to a wall. He doesn't have a lot of wiggle room. He doesn't have a lot of assets that other people want. He doesn't have a lot of number one picks. All of his other guys on the bench are kind of, just taking up space and a check. So what can Pelinka do here? I mean, I think at some point he's got to ask himself, can he win with LeBron and AD? They came close last year. Can they turn it on this year in the playoffs and have a magical run again? I don't know.
I don't see it with this roster the way it's configured, and they've had a lot of injuries to all those, quote, new guys that they brought in. And LeBron has an option next year. Next year is the final year of his deal. His option's $51 million. He could opt out this summer and go somewhere else. And then you'd have Anthony Davis against the world because you'd have a lot of cap space to use. But everything he's tried to do, I don't see a heck of a lot that's worked out. You're a Laker fan. Jump on our Laker line here. Join us in Fans Forum. Hockey Hotline.